Hey
things, and I
Floyd,
think
what did you think
a lot
about
of
the
people can
fight?
relate to my
What was
story.
your reaction to the venue and the whole
That's why
situation? You know,
I
the
feel
fight
though
needed more action.
that a lot
It
of
felt
people
more
could.
like a sparring session. Boxing legend Floyd Mayweather shared his thoughts on the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight. The boxing world went crazy after the match ended in a controversial draw. Shakur Stevenson also shared a strong opinion. He said it wasn't a draw. Roach clearly won. Stevenson criticized Davis for being too confident and not taking Roach seriously. He believes Davis thought Roach wasn't a real challenge, and that's why Davis struggled during the fight.
Who you thought won? Lamont.
You thought Lamont won? By how many rounds?
I don't know.
You still want the Tank Davis fight?
So what?
You still want the Tank Davis fight? What went wrong? What went wrong? Take out a little steam or fire out of it, or is it still the same?
I mean, we're going to see. I'm the best fighter in boxing. I've been saying this, so.
Shakur, what went wrong for Gervonta in this fight? Is just because, could we say maybe because Lamont didn't come in, they really...
I think he got overconfident. I think he was thinking Lamont wasn't that good. I told everybody how the fight was going to go. The fight went exactly how I said. Exactly.
After seeing this performance from Gervonta, do you believe your confidence has gone a little bit more up?
My confidence been up. I've been knew I was the best.
Shakur tweeted about the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight, saying that his prediction was right and that people who don't really understand boxing wouldn't get it. The fight went exactly how he expected. Many fans agreed and started asking for a rematch. Famous boxer and media personality Jake Paul also shared his disappointment with Davis's performance. He said the fight didn't have the excitement or energy that a championship match should have. Jake compared it to a sparring session instead of a real fight. He also said this didn't look like the...
He got lucky as a draw. He did a good fight though. I thought he won it, but man, you gotta just create more action. That's a sparring session as far as I'm concerned.
Oh my God.
But god damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
To middleweight champion Demetrius Andrade shared his thoughts on the fight, saying that Lamont Roach showed great skill during the match. Andrade believed the fight should not have been called a draw and that Roach had done enough to win. Even though the decision was controversial, he praised the fight overall, saying it was competitive and both fighters showed a high level.
The fight, Roach had something that we all wasn't expecting. He might have had power. His distance was good. He came in ready, prepared to fight, and he showcased that. And man, we had a good fight overall. It was a good IQ fight.
In all honesty, do you think Roach pulled it off?
I'm not going to say that. I don't think that the draw is good. You know. Other than that, it was a great fight. We'll love to see it again. It's me again, Caleb Plant, Chalo, Munguia, Edgar Berlanga. Where the fuck you motherfuckers at? Let's get this shit happen. You already know. So I'm playing. Let's get these shits popping, man. Time is ticking. Tick, 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 tick.
I mean, 100%. What do you think about Berlanga's obviously opponent that he chose? I mean,
Contender Isaac Cruz disagreed with the draw decision. He pointed out an important moment in the fight when Davis took a knee. Cruz said the judges and referee didn't give Roach the points he deserved for that, which could have changed the result. He suggested that this mistake played a big role in the unfair draw.
Dieron una gran pelea, pero ahora sí que me sorprendió la pelea que dio Lamont Roach y bueno, fue una gran pelea para todos los aficionados.
¿Tú crees que fue un empate?
No, yo creo que no. Creo que le quedaron a deber la caída a Lamont Roach, pero bueno, decisión de los jueces y del referee que no le hizo válida la caída, no le hizo el conteo.
¿Qué le fue mal en esta pelea para Gervonta? ¿Qué fue lo que no hizo para que los jueces le den esta pelea? ¿Tú qué piensas?
Bueno, él nada más apostó a un solo round, a un solo golpe para poderlo noquear, y el cual Loma venía muy bien preparado, muy bien concentrado en el plan de trabajo. Y bueno, creo que a Tank le faltó presionar, tirar más golpes para ser más contundente y que se viera más efectivo a la hora de la victoria.
¿Te gustaría ver una revancha entre ellos?
Pues estaría muy agradable. Ahora sí que en la primera estuvo muy buena, yo creo que en la segunda también.
Champion Danny Garcia shared his thoughts on the fight, calling it a great match that showed the skills of both boxers. Talking about Gervonta Davis's performance, Garcia said that not every fight shows a boxer at their best. He suggested that Davis might have just had an off night. Garcia also pointed out that boxing is unpredictable, and it's hard for fighters to always stay at their peak level.
There's no doubt this
Danny, what's going on, my man? What do you think of the fight?
Stay with me, right?
Danny, what do you think of the fight, man? Are you surprised by the outcome? It was a close fight.
I'm not surprised the way Lamont fought. I knew Lamont was going to come to fight. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. He did a good job. He fought a great fight.
What went wrong with Tank Davis? I mean, I was
what was wrong with him?
Out.
Every night in boxing is not your best, you feel me? But at least you got the draw.
Would you like to see a rematch of this or jump into a fight with Shakur Stevenson?
They don't, whatever they want to do. You think it was a draw? I don't know. It was a good fight.
Boxing commentator Jim Lampley shared his opinion on the fight's result, saying that draws are usually disappointing for both fans and fighters. He said many people expected Gervonta Davis to win by knockout, especially since Lamont Roach had moved up in weight for this fight. Lampley suggested that Davis not being able to knock out Roach could be seen as a step back in his career and might hurt his position in the lightweight
bag for fans, for people in the sport, etc., etc. I thought it was, in essence, the right decision. The only question about whether the upset draw is justified is whether Steve Willis erred in not deducting a point in a late round when Tank Davis appeared to touch the canvas with his hand. And, you know, that is going to stay in the woodwork and haunt the fight in the breach a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's a setback in Tank's career and for his reputation. I think most observers expected him to knock Roach out, particularly because Roach was moving up from 130 to 135. Sometimes when a fighter moves up in weight, he gets stronger, and it looked as though maybe Roach did get stronger and had a greater ability to resist Tank's power than other opponents have had, because Tank did tag him with a lot of clean shots, and he wound up throwing more punches than he likes to throw to get that done. He tagged him both on the chin and to the belly, etc., and couldn't seem to hurt Roach. And that was another surprise in the overall.
Undefeated. Welterweight champion Terrence Crawford shared his surprise on social media about the referee not counting it as a knockdown when Davis took a knee. In his tweet, Crawford showed his disbelief and suggested that the officials might have ignored the basic rules of boxing during the fight. He wrote that he had never seen someone take a knee and not have it counted.
And that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still, Roach leaned with right.
He took a knee.
He took a knee. What is he doing?
He forgot his...
Former three-division world champion Abner Mares called for a rematch between Davis and Roach. He said that Roach fought up to his full potential, which many people, including Davis, may have underestimated. Mares suggested that this underestimation played a role in how the fight turned out. He believes a rematch...
I thought Roach closed the last 2 rounds, and then if you think about it, that knockdown was a knockdown. He took a knee, they should have counted, and, you know, those 2 points, like Roach said, you know, it would have been on his favor and he would have won the fight. But, you know, I hope they run it back again, which I'm sure they will. And, you know, we get more of a clear, you know, victor for either side.
How much of tonight was Lamont Roach being Lamont Roach, and how much of it was Gervonta Davis maybe not being at his best?
It was more. Reason? It was more. Yeah, well said. I think it was more of Lamont being Lamont. A lot of people were not expecting that. He was catching the punches really well, took them well. Great combinations, and just stood in the pocket and fought him right in the center of the ring. Even Tank was not expecting that, and I think that threw him off. And you know, great great performance by Lamont Roach, and Tank Davis. He's got to fight more. It's not as consistent with the fighting, and you know, again, the timing probably wasn't there for him this fight.
What does this say about Tank, man? Some people had him as high as, top 5, top 10 pound.
You know what that's going to say about Tank now. Obviously, people are going to talk shit, and people are going to, put him, probably take him down on the pound for pound list, and it is what it is. But so that's why Tank has to come back and really get that rematch and really make a statement, if it's with him or whoever else.
And lastly, Adam, people wanted to know who's the best lightweight. Is it Keyshawn, Shakur, or Tank? Do you think he can still beat those guys, or did Lamont show some things tonight that those guys are just...
Lamont's definitely there. Lamont can fight any of these guys.
From Washington, D.C., shared his thoughts on the possible effects of the fight's controversial result. He was worried that Gervonta Davis's young and passionate fans might react badly, which could lead to problems. He said there was a strong negative energy around the event and stressed the importance of handling fan reactions carefully in high-stakes situations like this.
Tank versus Roach fight. I'm really disappointed, to be honest. Like, it's leaving a bad taste in my mouth. And the reason why is they leaving a negative energy out there. And a lot of y'all might not understand because y'all don't come from underserved environments or was never incarcerated or things like that. I'm from D.C. and I know how we get active. I know people from Baltimore and I know how they get active. When we talk about rivalries are cool. When I'm talking Commanders, Cowboys, stuff like that, that's friendly and cool. We talk our trash, but when we talking about when it's negative and we know that Tank have a young following, things like that, and I'm seeing certain people at these press conferences, violent individuals, and things can really turn out bad. So yeah, I understand they selling the fight and things like that, but certain things, it can get real bad. And I don't want to see nobody lose their life. Let this be a healthy rivalry. Y'all go in there, best man win, and fight over. It should be all love. We got to be careful with the messaging that we putting out. It's Mr. We Fit.
In his post-fight comments, Gervonta Davis said the match was good for the sport of boxing and praised Lamont Roach as a strong opponent. He admitted that fans expect knockouts from him because of his past performances, and that a draw is not the result people want from a fighter with his reputation. Davis's words showed that he understands the high expectations on him and that he
didn't get what the decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either, so I felt like I won it, the last couple rounds, so it's cool. Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I can get that rematch because I know what I can do in a fight, but it's cool.
Okay, questions?
Okay. Tank, is KG with Fight Hype. I wanted to ask Tank, when the decision was read, the way that you reacted, it looked like you was upset. You slammed your gloves on the canvas. What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
I didn't slam my glove on the canvas.
Okay, maybe I mistook from my vantage point, so that's my mistake. But what was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more. And I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need what is it called? Yeah, man. I didn't know what round it was.
Gervonta Davis's trainer repeated his earlier thoughts on Lamont Roach, stressing that he had always recognized Roach's talent and skills. Ford's comments suggest that Team Davis knew the challenges Roach would bring, and they acknowledged how competitive the fight would be.
For the sport, didn't get what the decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either, so I felt like I won it, the last couple rounds, so it's cool. Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I can get that rematch because I know what I can do in a fight, but it's cool.
Okay, questions?
Okay. Tank, is KG with Fight Hype. I wanted to ask Tank, when the decision was read, the way that you reacted, it looked like you was upset. You slammed your gloves on the canvas. What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
I didn't slam my glove on the canvas.
Okay, maybe I mistook from my vantage point, so that's my mistake. But what was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw,
from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in the. I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need what is it called? Yeah, man.
Levin Roach's performance was highly praised, with many saying he was the first fighter to truly challenge Davis. Fans have called for a rematch, believing Roach deserves another chance.
Lamont Roach definitely earned my respect tonight. Definitely one of the first fighters to put Tank to the test. Just matching fire with fire. That was a good fight. For me, I need to see a rematch ASAP. But yeah, Tank definitely took the knee, 100%. I see Roach winning that 7-5 personally, but boxing is business, so they were never going to let him have that win. Roach's timing was on point though. No easy knockouts tonight. Just sharp counters like. Real, very good fighter, very good fighter. Let me know what you guys think, if that robbery was fair or not. Leave it in the...
Many fans and analysts still argue that Roach was robbed, pointing to the moment when Davis took a knee but wasn't counted as a knockdown. This controversy has led to even more calls for
Lamont Roach just got cheated. And Lamont Roach's fight versus Tank Davis just ended in a draw. And based on what I just seen, he was winning the fight. But you know what makes it worse? What makes it worse is Tank Davis took a knee. When you take a knee in boxing, that's supposed to be an automatic knockdown. They literally let Tank Davis take a knee. The referee wanted to count. He chose not to count. He went to the corner, wiped off his hair, wiped off his eye, and then kept fighting. And to me, that makes no sense. How are you able to do that and not be a knockdown? Yo, boxing is crazy, bro. This stuff is wild. And you know what makes it even wilder? His excuse said, I just got my hair done and my hair was in my eye. Bruh, cut your hair. This is boxing, man. Y'all dudes be trying to look too pretty. But with all that being said, it was a great fight. I just hate the ending. Give that man Lamont Roach the knockdown so he could go ahead and...
For the first time in his career, Davis didn't get a knockout, and some of his fans were disappointed, even booing him after the fight. This reaction showed the high expectation.
Gervonta just lost his perfect record. His fight with Lamont Roach was scored as a majority draw. Roach threw more punches and landed more punches on Gervonta. Just look at the numbers. And was this a knockdown? Roach after the fight wasn't satisfied, and he said if that was scored as a knockdown, he would have won the fight tonight. Gervonta after the fight said that some grease from his hair just got in his eyes and he couldn't see well. Crowd started booing Tank, his own crowd. We all know boxing fans. They love you one day, they hate you one day. That's exactly what Tank said. But what do you think really happened? Was that because Lamont is really that guy? Or is it because Tank really needs to take time to himself, retire, go back to school as he mentioned? I don't know, but you go ahead and comment.
Coach defended his fighter but also praised Roach for his efforts. He emphasized that neither fighter clearly won the match and that Roach deserved respect for his performance.
Well, both of us back today was that again. Nobody won. Nobody won. He could sit there and say, I didn't get knocked out. That's the only thing that's good to say. I didn't get knocked out. Maybe that was his championship, because he did. You know what I'm saying? He fought a brilliant fight. Salute goes off to him. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tank was talking about retirement stuff. That might change that. We don't know. We have to wait and see.
15 MMA journalist Ariel Helwani speculated that this could be one of Davis's last fights, as he has hinted at retirement. Helwani believes that the disappointing result might make Davis retire from boxing sooner than...
Gervonta Tank Davis. He's returning to defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach, who is moving up from super featherweight. Tank Davis is these days kind of averaging one fight a year, which is a shame. He wants to have 3 more fights and then retire by the end of 2025. Does he get 3 fights this year? Does he actually retire by the end of the year? Who knows? But this may be one of the last times we see him, at least for now. So catch him while you can. One of the most exciting, one of the most hard-hitting fighters in the sport, and we suspect once again that he wins, and I suspect that he wins via stoppage once again. He is one of the hardest hitting guys in the history of the sport, and we suspect that if he gets by Roach, there could be some big fights on the horizon this year. We don't know, but he's got to get by Lamont Roach first.